Right, let's start with our top story now. At the South, just after 8 o'clock, we're going to get an update on the latest from the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. Let's cross back to SABC News anchor Ayanda, Nyathi, SABC News reporter Canny, Maphanga. A very good morning to the both of you. Really have been painting the picture throughout the morning on what has transpired, some of the questions that still remain unanswered, who's set to also come, and really waiting from here. Questions. I'm going to hand it back to you. Perhaps you can paint that picture a little more succinctly as we edge closer to that 9:30 kickoff.
Yeah, absolutely, Lisa. We're still very much in phase one of the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. In other words, it's the laying of those allegations. In phase two, we expect some of the names that have come up to have those people come back into this inquiry and, I suppose, mount some kind of defense. A name that has been ringing through the walls here is that of Julius Mkhwanazi. He, of course, is now suspended, was the deputy police chief of the AMPD, and at some stage was promoted to being the acting police chief at a time where he was also facing an internal disciplinary hearing. All of this came to light through the testimony of Golaningisa and several other people who had come to this inquiry from that metro. Today, we're expecting to hear from the head of communications, as you mentioned in the headlines, in the form of Kelebogile Thepa. Joining us is Canny Maphanga, who's been watching these developments for us. Canny, as we continue honing in on the EMPD, help us place where Kelebogile Thepa is likely to fit in this picture that's been painted of this alleged takeover.
Indeed. Well, where you can expect this evidence, I guess, to touch on is because we all know that what triggered this investigation into the quote-unquote blue light saga is this media query by Jeff Wex, the investigative journalist of News 24. That then circulated within the office of the EMPD, and then, of course, it led to the subsequent actions that we saw. We saw Spies and Maphanga trying to initiate that investigation. Of course, more revelations coming out about this particular individual, that is Brigadier Julius Mkhwanazi. So as the EMPD, I guess, head of media relations, I think that's the only aspect that we could expect this witness to touch onto, because a lot of the evidence centers around this media query by Jeff Wex. Then, of course, the subsequent 2 emails by this Bikli at Yahoo, the whistleblower email that constantly comes up in this evidence, that kept giving developments to Jeff Wex about how the circumstances were changing, how individuals were being targeted, and then, of course, the leaking of the charge sheets to the media through that same email address. So perhaps that evidence will be limited to that. We understand that the statement is not quite long, so it should be done within this day that we complete that particular evidence, because we spent at least a week and some change on the Ekurhuleni Metro Police Department, who knew that this small municipal, well, let's not say small because Ekurhuleni is a huge metro, but who knew that what we thought was allegations about the alleged cartel member Vusimuzi Matlala's benefit would then grow into much more evidence about how Brigadier Julius Mkhwanazi was allegedly running a parallel structure of complete lawlessness within the Ekurhuleni Metro Police Department.
And he certainly had people apparently who were pulling the strings, including the then city manager in Imogen Mashazi, whose name has also come up several times, including yesterday when he apparently, there was a Christmas party that we were told about from 2023 where loyalties, it seems, were laid bare. We're watching those developments very closely for you, Liesl. As always, 9:30 is the time, right here at the Mavanda Justice College. That's when we're expecting this new witness to take to the stand.
Yes, absolutely, Canny and Ayanda. It's also just a caution that we use their full names and surnames, because some of the surnames are, being replicated there. It's making sure we're referring to the correct individuals. So lots of technicalities coming through there. Thank you so much for your time. Ayanda and Canny are monitoring all things there at the Madlanga Commission.